Yeah, welcome. We are now at episode 3 of the AllJazz podcast. We have a welcome guest, which is a guest that a lot of times has been here at this house. We've planned this podcast for many years. I gotta just slow sometimes. But I work hard. You can see it on my face. Look, I worked hard just preparing for this podcast. So everybody welcome Mr. Rico Weeland.
Are you really that nervous to talk to me?
No, but it was working. But a little bit. So I'm not going to do a big intro. We're going to put a little bit of intro before the podcast as well, maybe. But just, you're a good friend of mine. One of the, I think, I always say this. Like I said for Fritz when he was here, one of the best working magicians I know. And you are one of the best minds, current, modern, the way you think and you push and how you treat magic. So I wanted to have you as a guest.
Thank you.
Just because of that first. So we're going to have this official public podcast talking about you a little bit and how you are and how you came into magic. And let's just start with a cliche question with magicians.
How did you get into magic?
Yeah, but I like to say how, but also why. So that's kind of a twist on it. How did you get into magic? Maybe the cliche story that you maybe have or whatever. But if not, think about also why.
I had like a magic set and then I kicked my brother to steal. No.
We're off to good start.
Actually, it was like a friend of my dad who used to do magic, and he taught me like a simple trick with where you make a card go to the top, put it in the center.
And the ambitious card.
Ambitious card, pretty much. Then I didn't know you could learn more about magic, so that was it. And then I saw the worst magician of my life at some party.
Yeah? What made it so bad?
Like, I was 7, and he made like a handkerchief disappear in a thumb tip.
Yeah.
But I didn't know about the existence of a thumb tip.
Yeah?
But I knew he put it in the thumb tip.
So you saw the thumb tip or you...
I don't know. It was just so bad. Like, you're just stuffing it in there. And it was like, he's putting it into something. And then it was like this. And then like, gone.
And then you could see, like, he put it even like that. Like
a little bit of shit coming out still on the side.
Oh,
like,
no. Okay, so you basically got one of the classics first. And it was probably performed okay, depending on how you said it. But then...
He was a pretty okay magician. Like, he definitely practiced and took care of his stuff. Mm-hmm. And then later I saw a video of David Blaine doing magic on YouTube, like street magic, and I was like, shit, that's what I want to do.
Okay, when did you see the David Blaine?
When I was 15.
And can you remember the year?
Well, when I was 15, so I'm 23 now, with 2021, so...
Oh, so it was, okay, so much later when he was out there already for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had, like, in Slovenia, like I told Fritz already when he was here, I saw it in 2003, somewhere around there when Petra was pregnant with Nikki. And I remember just like also like, what is this? Like I just can't be real. Like watching this and he's doing it, but I know it's a trick. I have to find out. So yeah, for you it was also Blaine really like pushed you forward a bit.
Yeah, but then also Mike Vincent, because when I learned the Blaine stuff, I just saw stuff on YouTube, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do or the type of magic that was nice.
Yeah.
And the first time I saw Mike perform, something resonated, and I was like, okay, that's what I want to do.
And when did you see Mike Vincent perform?
Well, on YouTube,
online?
like the Penn and Teller Fullers thing. Like those performances, like seeing the Cavorting Aces being done in such a beautiful way and slap aces.
Yeah.
Then I was thinking, okay, this is what I want to do.
Okay, nice. And then, as far as I remember, we got connected when I contacted Michael Vincent to do a lecture in the Netherlands. I wanted to facilitate him coming here, so I offered him to stay at my place, which we talked about with Fritz also, which is like right now I think about, what was Mike probably thinking? Like, this dude, like, at least now I'm looking at it, he wasn't definitely not very accepting and open. But now looking at it, like if somebody just contacted me, like I would definitely want to go, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was just a fanboy in me trying to think he would be like, that's too much contacting Mike Vincent. Like, he's gonna talk to me. So what happened then? Like, how did you see me contacting him, or did you decide to contact me?
I saw he was doing a lecture at the Magic Shop in the Netherlands.
Ah, okay.
I think you organized it.
Yeah. I tried to organize that. I mean, I did, but everything that was organized by Ron and Gert.
Yeah, but you
facilitated. I was the DJ Khaled, another one.
You were the Khaled. No, yeah. So I wanted to go there. I was like, oh, finally I was going to come to the Netherlands. But then I was really bummed out because I saw, oh, this is on the same night I have to do my psychology exams.
Oh.
So then I wrote Mike an email like, hey, Mike, I see you come to the Netherlands. I would love to meet you. I really love and respect your magic. I'd love to have a coffee with you or a dinner with you.
Mm-hmm.
But no, actually I wrote him like, I would love to meet you and come to your lecture, but I can't because I have this exam.
Mm-hmm.
So I would also love to have coffee or dinner if that's fine with you, and I'll just come to wherever you are. And then we talked already a bit before that.
On Facebook, right?
A bit, yeah, because Fritz mentioned you, I think, and then I saw some things, thought, okay, this is interesting. So we talked on Facebook, and then basically he was like, oh yeah, I'm staying at AllJaz's place, so if you know him, you can maybe talk to him. I was like, okay.
Nice. So he probably was like aware that I'm kind of open anyway. That's why, because and you remember, you just asked nicely and was like, yeah, sure, of course. I mean, I did a little bit of research. Who's this young boy? Because at that time you were not yet 18, right?
I was just 18.
Just 18, yeah. And I remember here, when we were at this corner right there, there was a table there before. Now there's a big couch. And Tommy joining us in sessioning. I have this beautiful memory of meeting you and Mike Vincent basically at the same time.
I have this beautiful memory of you having this way too small bike, and coming to the station and being like, well, the buses aren't going today, and we don't have another bike, so maybe you can just go on the back. And you have like this little bike.
It was this folding bike. Yeah,
with me like standing on the back, like couldn't even sit. It was that low, just standing.
We have a picture of that, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Oh man, maybe we could show it. We'll put it in the podcast.
The only thing I remember Mike saying that day was, well, that looks dangerous.
And you know what his first experience with me was also? Like one of the first things was like after a while when he was here, I think it was the second time that he visited, then I was like, oh, but we can go biking. And he was kind of like a bit maybe shy, but then I saw why, because he said, well, I know how to ride a bike, but I haven't ridden for 30 years or something, never, like London is not facilitated for a bike and not really arranged. So he was like a bit, so I gave him the folding bike, which is easier. I thought it was going to be easier to maneuver, but it is, like even a bit more. So, but he did manage to go on. Like I think it was like 1 or 2 bikes we used that we exchanged a bit, and the Fiets, Oma Fiets, in the Netherlands, the city bike, and that was his experience with me trying to learn. He was kind of like not sure if this is gonna go, and then we took a really nice picture here down the street where I remember a lot of people were commenting of his friends on Facebook that he looked sincerely happy in that moment as a child. Like he really was afraid a little bit in the beginning, because I can imagine. But then he saw, like, once you get a little bit of speed and you get the feeling of it, there's a reason why there's an expression. It's like riding a bike.
Yeah, definitely.
So beautiful. So then, when was for you as a magician? You said you discovered first the YouTube scene, and then going, realizing while seeing Mike Vincent that this is kind of what you want to do. But how did you find out where to learn this stuff, or that in that type of way, the magic of Michael Vincent?
Well, just by seeing what the people are doing that I want to be like, or that I want my magic to be close to.
Mm-hmm. So in spirit, at least.
Yeah, well, no, but I see, like, I research, like, okay, what books do they like, or what books are they reading, or be like, now it's books, of course, like, I know that. A lot of people know it.
Yeah.
But before it's even maybe which videos are they watching, like, just what are they doing? And it's just like, okay, they're practicing like this, and they're reading these types of books, and they recommend this.
Mm-hmm.
So just sort of trying to follow in their footsteps.
Nice. So that was your first blueprint. Did you go to any sites where you would find out? Because I was shocked in the beginning that it was like a whole market selling, tricks and DVDs and.
Yeah, well, I discovered the Magic Shop site, and that was a fun experience.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I already very quickly realized that when I was buying things, and then like in the beginning you buy a sense mind because those trailers, they look amazing.
Mm-hmm. They did, yeah.
And you look at the trailer and you're like, oh, I get so excited when a good performance is, and you imagine what you can do, and then it gets to your home and you're like,
oh,
I still have to build this. And they gave me one elastic, which is dry, and I tried to build it around this gimmick, and it breaks, and then they say, oh, you can buy these things like from a dentist office. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, the little like for the coins and.
Of course, the dentist office didn't have them, or
You know, I have one of those that I actually went to a dentist office and got it. Bought a bag of like 100. Still have the old ones there. It's like, but it was a pain to track down and to actually get an alternate. What are you doing with these? Like, okay, here you go. Like, weirdo, get out of here. Okay, I mean, because I remember you from the beginning when I met you. You were like, how can you tell me how long were you in Magic when we met? Like,
I think for 3 to 4 years.
3 to 4 years. Because I was impressed for your age, and not to go like talk, because we're friends, we're like on the same level, and I'm not trying to like say, oh, you're at your age, you know, sounds demeaning sometimes, like, oh, that you're so good at your age, you know, like that's like.
Well, let me tell you, young man, when I was younger.
Yeah, you know, like, but I do want to say that it stood out to me. I always, when I was your age, or yours at that age, when you were 18, when you were first meeting me, I was always, when I was that age, always looking to connect with older people than me. I kind of never felt, you know, that my peers think the way I think or are interested in the things I am, and so it was always kind of easier to connect with. Did you feel the same? Or
I still feel the same.
Still feel, yeah.
Of course, there are some people my age that I connect with pretty well.
Because let's make it clear, we are 11 years apart now, right? Almost 12 or something like that.
12, I would say 12. Yeah.
I'm 1985. You're
1998.
Yeah, 13 years then. 12 probably, yeah, more based on the months. But the fact that when I was here with my wife and 2 children, and you 18 years old, and I now realize, oh my goodness, you're closer to my son than right. But I still always felt like we could connect. Especially first Magic was the first thing, but we always managed to talk about so much other stuff than.
Yeah, but that's with all my friends in Magic. Like I like to chill with magicians, but after 2 hours it gets boring for me because
if it's just Magic, yeah.
Yeah, but like there's some magicians I can chill the whole night with because we're so matched in level and in the way we think about magic that it's just a continuous jam, which is amazing. But very often this sort of, it's like I show you something, you show me something, and then nothing really flows from this. So then I also just need to be able to drink a beer with you at a bar or
just normal. Yeah, what do you think about this topic or that? Have you read this or That's to me. I mean, I don't know why I've never met so many magicians that are not like that. Maybe we attract people. Also, I don't know. I'm not a.
Yeah, but it's sort of. I mean, of course, magic is this fun hobby, but it would be really weird also. Oh, you like cooking? I like cooking. Come, let's be friends. But even though we have nothing in common except for cooking.
Yeah, that's true.
Ridiculous.
But it's such a small community, magicians, that we kind of just feel this brotherhood immediately.
But some of those people I see like once per year, and that's enough for me.
Yeah.
And others I just wanna, like, we talk about magic sometimes, but I just wanna chill with them as friends. Also.
Nice. And I mean, were you interested before, like, into musical expression before you met me? Because I didn't think you were before, or were you?
Well, I played piano from when I was 8 years old until I was 14, something like that. So yeah, and also like flute and stuff. So I liked music a lot.
Yeah.
But then at one point,
did you get inspired when you were here? Because I felt like did you started playing guitar or?
Oh no, not really. No, I just because I liked music a lot.
I thought he was gonna say.
Wait. AllJazz song inspired me to play music.
No,
okay, you can just cut this out
apartment.
and take it out of context.
No, the apartment. The apartment. I mean, Petra, especially Petra. Petra is very, like, there's so many instruments around the house because of her. I like to play guitar.
Actually, it's more like you, like, she really inspires me to make music. And every time I see you, I sort of get de-inspired, but just her force is just strong enough to...
This is what we do, yeah. We have to bust each other's butts or balls or ball sacks, tea bags. Family friendly.
What?
But I mean, like, that's always what I've felt.
That's a cookie, kid. You put it in the oven and then they bust.
Yes, and what I wanted to say was that I always loved that you were at that age as well. I remember, did I express that to you? Because I remember very quickly we talked about this, that I feel that becoming friends... I at least have like this tendency to bust chops with friends or kind of tease back and forth in the sense of Like my father used to do that a lot with his friends. It's in Serbo-Croatian language sounds even rougher, but I just got used to these people just like, hey, but I know that one of them is now out of the group because it was a bit too hard for him, or he became sensitive later on. But my dad and his other friend are just even more hardcore now, just like, blah, blah, blah. Like he's out, he can't handle it after 20 years. But we do have this kind of thing, no? We like to, I don't know. At least I felt that there's not a lot of people where I can feel free that we can like tease each other a lot. Come on, I can't do a better earn exchange than you, but I can definitely muscle past the shit out of you.
It sounds more intimidating as well, you know?
Right? Muscle pass.
I'm gonna earn the shit out of you.
Beautiful, beautiful. You know, I want to kind of like, if you want to talk a little bit more about your story, because right now you're really, I see that you are really in an interesting path or kind of crossroads that you decided to go on many paths. Like people they find themselves in a crossroads and they will go one or the other. You're kind of maintaining, as far as I see, you're doing performing. You now have a podcast going. I mean, you're writing a magazine. You're building a show with a friend of yours as well, and there's a lot of things going on. Do you feel like you're still like on the same path, just kind of?
Yeah, also, but it's been an interesting experience for sure. Because I get to deal a lot with imposter syndrome in there, but also a lot with in the sense that I'm seeing what am I doing, because I'm so young. I still have to learn so much. Am I teaching people magic? And now I started to see it more as like I'm documenting magic. I'm like documenting my and Alvaro's evolution through magic and through thinking.
Yeah.
And it's more like a journey, like, hey, let's discover together where we can take magic and how to express it, rather than I have all the answers. And I'm gonna tell this to you.
Yeah, yeah. Beautiful that you think this way, because it's like you're gonna look back probably like we all do 10 years from now, and we're like, I've really grown. I've learned a lot, you know, like then you can sometimes, like you say, this imposter syndrome, it is like, especially in entertainment business, and we're kind of like, nobody knows us, but still we get to a certain success in the field or respect from the peers and the audiences. And then you start feeling like, yeah, who am I? Like, why am I like being like, yeah, this imposter syndrome is, especially if you're self-conscious as a person by nature. Like I'm quite self-conscious. I've always try to look more confident than I really am on the outside, but it's like always been, yeah, you can do better. Come on, especially when you get inspired by people. Like when you showed me that second deal, that was, but still, even like, you know, like just the push-off double and everything. Your card work from the beginning was way more sophisticated and like polished than mine was, and I was quite into card magic, more into stand-up, like in the hands performances, but still, like for 4 years, you said that when you were 18, and I mean, it is hard to not blow your horn a little bit and saying like that is, to me at least, the way it is unusual, like that maybe you spent a lot of time, or you like when you practice, you were really into it, and you're checking yourself how you want it to look. Because I see a lot of people don't do that, especially with students I have. It's like they like magic, but they're not self-critical to a sense of.
But this is also an approach for life, I think. And it's because I used to play a lot of video games, and I really loved one game in particular, Starcraft. And it's a sort of a strategy game, but it only really becomes strategy once you can play the game really, really well. Because before it's of course strategy, because certain units counter other units. But yeah, if you have the counter units for this, but I have 100 units more, I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
So this game is first just really learning very well how the mechanics of the whole game works, and if you can do that, it becomes strategy type of game.
Nice.
But to get good at that, you really have to like watch back all the games, watch back the replays, go over it. What could I have done better? What did he do? And how could I improve this? And this is sort of a mindset that I also took to magic.
Okay. That's a good point. Like if you are already like thinking in a certain way when you reach and you encounter magic, when it's not just like, oh, this is cool. Oh, how do you do that? Oh, new one, next one. What more? More secrets. You know, it's it's very unusual that you also very quickly found, which is really good for you, dude, that you like notice this is not what I want to do. I don't want to keep going new. I want to develop myself and
Yeah,
skills.
but it's also just luck. Like I realized I'm extremely lucky because there's some really good Magic books out there. And I started buying books in the time when they were still all in print. Like all the Divernon books were still in print. Marlowe's work was still in print. Then just those things already. It was like I bought those books like just from the Magic shop. It just all came to me: Ultimate Secrets, Inner Card Secrets.
But
now,
you also were lucky as well, like, with some special stashes of people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Local people here in the Netherlands, like Ger Cooper.
Yeah.
Or something else. Also when from the NMU.
No,
the
just
Netherlands Magic
just Ger. Yeah.
Just Ger, yeah. Amazing, like Paul book for like one of the first edition copies. How much was that one?
€20
from him. Like, but on the market it was like what was
like
the worth?
200 or something.
Lucky bastard.
There's also only 500 of that edition they're made.
Yeah, but you also don't see a lot of people your age reading, like being, let's say, okay, I want to read books and being like being appreciative to the fact that you still have access to these books, you know.
Yeah, but it's also like it's a hard thing. I also feel because it's much easier when you feel a bit shitty or when you come home to just take your phone and scroll Instagram or Facebook or watch videos on YouTube. And I don't feel like reading, but I also notice that if I start doing it, I just calm down inside at the moment. It's like,
Nice. Yeah. So you found something like, 'cause the discussion to me, especially with Petra, who's a contemporary composer, and we sometimes I'm kind of frustrated. She's so well, like she built such a great base and here, and like, and she has so many people in the professional world like just praising her. She's getting awards back and forth, and it's really amazing work. And also in the not just composition and music, just in the performance art field as well. But it's like, where is the, you know, there's not much interest commercially for it, you know. So it's like this struggle between how to get finances for it, because the shows are not going to bring the money to be able to get paid for the work, you know. And it's like, I get frustrated with this thing. Is like, come on, people, at least a mass of people wake up to support, you know. Like, but then I'm like also frustrated with Petra and with me, like sometimes like saying, but specifically not to speaking about Petra, doesn't feel the need to connect with people, to make a Patreon, to let people more in, to have them support what she does, right, directly. And it's like, nah.
Yeah, but it also depends, of course, like how your process as artist is in some way.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, but then on the other hand, like I'm kind of like, she's frustrated with me not doing things that I could do better and be more methodical and have so many great ideas, but then implementing is like, get your shit together, Elias, you know, like it's, but yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know why, but when you said this, like a sentence that Shane Cobalt told me once still sticks with me a lot, which is interesting people do good magic.
Yeah. It's a very like a small amount of words for saying a lot there.
Yeah, especially because it's a performance art, you know. And Tamaris also says this in the 7 Fails of Magic,
which you have really done really nice work with your podcast. Please check out what was that episode?
Just 7 Fails of Magic.
Yeah, but it's like it's very one of the beginning.
Number 5. It's number 5.
Go on the Invisible Practice YouTube page and check it out. It's really really nice work you did. And like
subscribe and like.
Yeah, like we're trying to, you know, we're newcomers in this game. Subscribe, like, support us there. Listen on Apple Podcast and everywhere, and review us there. But
also, you can of course hack the sound system of your mall and then just play it there. That would be great.
Perfect. You see, that horn was right there. Yeah, let's go. You know, I want to go a little bit into. Let's say, because we talked about this before we started this, I want to make it public also that what I'm trying personally to do with the AllJazz brand, and we're trying to see how many other magicians might want to step on this path a little bit of sharing magic a little bit more with the children or with the people who are interested in the public sense of offering classes, going to after school activity clubs. But this right now here, we have a magician in the public podcast. We're gonna try to now share a couple of things that you might think that a beginner who tries to go into card magic a little bit you would give them some advice, maybe a trick here and there that is like public domain. I have here a couple written down that we did some research, but your stuff as well, where you want to show, or just the handling, or maybe something that you get people interested in. Okay, if I start in the right way like this, I will then benefit, and then. So what do you want to do?
That definitely has a lot to do with like what you say, how you start. Because I was talking with Alvaro about this, and there's some people like that just do magic for a few years, but get really good really fast. Because they have the right stuff to study. It's some way of luck, maybe also some way of doing proper research, but they study the right stuff.
Yeah.
Where there are other people that just sort of get stuck in this loophole of watching YouTube videos, learning new tricks, and then in the beginning you might see a quick improvement, but then it sort of stagnates for a while.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think a proper basis is important, and overall has coached people who did this for 9 months and were better than people who were doing magic for 10 years.
Yeah, you need, like, some people need mentorship a little bit, or at least resources where they can. Like, for me, the value of like reading the books is enormous. Like, especially the public domain stuff, which you can find, and it's like. But sometimes it's hard if you're starting just there. You need something visual or a person to show you. Yeah. Yeah,
but like that's why I'm still a big fan of Royal Road to Card Magic, because this book teaches you every single technique,
and it's public domain, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, but also it's cheap. It's
cheap as well. Like, but I'm saying, like, if no excuses. Like, I had this, like, the
cards are too expensive.
Yeah, dude. Like, I was playing with Piatnik cards and the plastic coated cards, and I was like always so fascinated how they can spread on the video so beautifully. I just like I have the technique down, but it just doesn't spread that way. So yeah, like buying the right proper cards would definitely help. Like, it's not professional in a sense of.
Yeah, but even if you get shit decks and you get Royal Road to Card Magic, like, this is gonna still teach you enough to do proper magic.
Yeah, with the shuffle techniques and.
Yeah, but also like it's wonderful because you learn a technique, and then after the technique you learn how to use it. You can do this and this trick with it, and you can do this, and then this keeps building on this. And it's a very nice structure that then at one point.
I think is it Steve Faulkner that has like a nice also course on it's based on Royal Road.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, so I can also not.
Yeah, just like it's nice to see people like thinking like this and that way. There's resources where you need and focus on something, and it is also true that you do not need everything in those books.
Yeah, but if you like video as well, then Paul Wilson has a really awesome course where it's the Royal Road and Card Magic. You get the book with it, but you also get 7 or 8 DVDs with it, where he goes with you through everything.
Okay, R. Paul Wilson?
Yeah.
When was that released?
I have no idea.
Never heard.
I guess 2000s.
Nice. Yeah, would you? We have some decks of cards there, Beg. You want to? I can get them, and you want to show us a trick? We'll put on some music and maybe share something. You don't have to explain it,
sure.
But just as a show type of thing, you can, and then we can go maybe in some principles and stuff. Entertain the audience for a second.
Entertain the audience.
We should have prepared. Here's your Dapper deck. Hey, here we go. There we go. So let's move this little picture of our little friend here a little bit to the side. And this special deck of cards is for later when we finish this official episode. So if you want to see why this is here, and if you can catch what this is, right, you get to find out in the Patreon.
Then you win a cookie.
The cookie that busts.
In the oven.
In the oven.
Yeah. They call them bustanuts.
Bustanuts. Yeah. There's a bunch of nuts out there.
It's just, this is a trick I always prefer to teach to people.
Yeah.
And
if you can keep it kind of here, so that the camera there can see it as well. Okay.
And I don't like to explain tricks to people because there's no value in it. It's just you know it, and now okay. It's sort of like snow. You know, when you see snow for the first time as a kid, you're like, wow.
Yeah.
But then someone explains, yeah, but it's just because in the cloud, like the water particles are there, and then it freezes, and then it becomes really heavy and it falls down. Just to like.
So when it's explained, then it's less mesmerizing.
Yeah, and then you just look at it and like, oh, okay, cool.
But what do you mean you don't explain when you teach somebody first, or just in general?
No, just in general. Someone like, oh, how do you do it? I don't like to explain it because it has that same effect. Like that feeling of wonder is gone.
Exactly, and unless they insist, then you're gonna ask them, "Hey, you want to be a magician? You sure you want to go down this path?"
Yeah, but teaching people something is cool because they can do it to their friends, but also they sort of realize maybe how difficult it is.
Yeah,
they realize that more, but also they usually get more respect for it because, like, usually the people that respected magic the most were my roommates because they wanted to learn something, but also then they saw me practice and do it and read books, and they were like, "Wow, fuck, this actually goes much deeper than we thought."
Yeah.
But we'll try this. We're gonna try out your luck today.
Okay.
So, like, you had those professional gamblers back in like Las Vegas, for example.
Yeah.
And what they would do is on certain nights they would go out to gamble and they would just walk up to the roulette wheel, and they would just bet, for example, on uneven. Right?
Yeah.
Just put like $5. The wheel goes. If it hits uneven, they were like, okay, great. Tonight's my lucky night. I'm going to go play. If it hit anything else, they would just be like, okay, better tomorrow. And then just walk out.
Okay.
So I want to sort of do this with you, but you get 2 chances.
Okay.
And we're going to just try out your luck, okay? So I'm just going to deal those cards like this. And whenever you like, you can call out stop.
Those cards are beautiful. Stop.
Would you like it down or back?
This one down.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna just mark that spot with that ace.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that later we know, of course, when we come back where it is, right?
Okay.
Makes
sense.
Okay. And we're gonna do the same thing again. You can say stop whenever you want with those beautiful cards on the table. You can do it any day now.
Stop.
Here.
No, the next one.
Here.
Yes.
Not here?
No,
What about?
No. That one.
Okay, are you happy?
Yes.
Okay.
Extremely.
Cool. So, you said stop at 2 points. We'll just move those out.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't go out of frame because I cannot see the camera, but hey, we'll see, people. This is extremely messy.
They will see.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Okay, so, I would say if you have something like close to a high card, this would be good, right? So we'll say like maybe a picture card, maybe a jack, queen, or king.
Yeah, I would be happy with that.
Would you consider that your lucky night and go out and gamble?
I would start to think about it, yeah.
Okay. Let's see what you got for the first one. First try, you got...
I got an ace.
An ace. It's a pretty big coincidence, right? Although I guess if you get this one also, then everything would just be perfect just the way it is.
Okay. Beautiful. So this is one of the tricks you would, let's say, show to somebody and not explain it?
No, I would teach this to people. Actually.
Teach this to people? Like laymen as well? And,
yeah. Because the principle is pretty simple.
Yeah.
It's usually also something like you can teach them a bit of false shuffles with this.
Yeah, like holding on to the bottom or just getting the bottom to the top and...
Yeah, well, let me explain this to people. Mm-hmm. So the way it works is you take 2 aces out.
Anyway, I'll follow along. Yeah, we'll use the white shot for all this. Okay, I'll take 2 aces.
Yeah, like the black ones, for example, you can put on the table.
Oh, I have them ready.
Oh, great. And you just put 1 red one on the bottom and 1 red one on the top.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And already now we can sort of false shuffle because all you have to do is just like
take
peel off 1 card and then shuffle. And when you get to the end, just peel off every single card.
With the thumb. So important that people sometimes they drop cards. So you have to peel them off with the thumb till the last one.
Yeah, and then you still have an ace on top and on bottom.
Basically, switcheroo shuffle.
Yeah, kind of. So this gives the idea it's all mixed, and you can tell whatever story you want about luck.
Mm-hmm.
And then essentially what you do is I'll just turn them face up so you can follow.
Just for the explanation.
Yeah.
Okay.
You deal cards on the table, right? So
the ace goes first.
Yeah. So notice how 1 ace is on the bottom right now.
Yeah.
And we're dealing down, and this automatically becomes like the new bottom ace.
Yes.
So as we're dealing, someone would say stop, for example.
Yeah.
Here. You put 1 on top, but as we know, there's an ace on the bottom, which then goes, of course, directly on top of the first ace.
Yes.
But because the top ace has become the bottom ace now when you're dealing again, however many cards, they put it there, and of course that ace again goes on top. So all that's then left to do is maybe explain a bit more, talk a bit more, spread out those cards, and you remove
the right one,
the ace and the card above it.
And the card above it.
And that's how you get there.
Nice.
And
But what would you explain how to make this not just a trick, but a moment? What would you explain to beginner what to do? Okay, you have these techniques now that they have to focus on. There's nothing else than the shuffle, basically. And yeah, there's nothing.
I think it depends on the person also a bit, but like you would just probably start by just letting them do the trick.
Mm-hmm.
But also I feel that because I start with this little story about Las Vegas and those gamblers and going to the casino, like people very often also try to make like a little story around it.
Yeah.
And that's for this thing, it's very important because essentially it's a very boring trick. It's a dealing trick. So the story has to be interesting enough in some way that people want to see the end of it.
Yeah, so you started with some kind of an emotional hook, or do you believe in coincidences?
Yeah, exactly. You believe coincidence or
something.
Or hey, do you just want to try out your luck just for fun? You could even just do it casual. Like I'm just gonna deal some cards down like this, and whenever you feel like it, you can just call stop. Okay.
Yeah. And it seems very fair. Everything's fair.
Exactly. And then you do this, and you say, okay, so you get one, and then we go for the second one. I mean, whenever you want, you can just call stop. I mean, if you want me to deal like in 2 or 3, you can also just say that.
You know, now that I'm thinking about it, with Fritz, when we were talking about what would he explain, we didn't explain any, like show any of the tricks, but he did mention Daryl's dream card, or the touchless, the way he called it. And it's kind of based on the same principle, but not really. In the other one, you have basically they deal down how many cards they want. They stop. You have the dream card there, and then they deal 2 piles with the pile that they dealt down.
Mm-hmm.
So now you can imagine. Then you have 2 cards ending up in the 2 piles, and the ones that are on the top are the original. You know what? And then you have that one shows the value of it, and one the suit of it, of the dream card there, and it matches. But there's some touches if you watch Daryl perform it, and it's very rare to find the performance of it. But if you buy, we gave the credits in that podcast. If you go watch it back, but it's Magic for Dummies is the book where I was completely surprised that Daryl gave one of his best self-working tricks inside there. But they say good things about Magic for Dummies, that it's not treating magic badly, you know, that it's from proper sources and thought through a little bit. Okay.
I have the feeling in general with the dummy books that they're treating it properly, like everything they write.
Yeah, I think so too. That it's not like it's like this contrast to the title. It's like it's not really for them. It's for people who want to take it a little bit serious and know and like yeah. Awesome. Like okay, I forgot this challenge that I wanted to do with Fritz, so we're gonna start it here. I didn't mention it to you. I didn't want you to prepare. I practiced my ass off so I can beat you at it. We have a timer right there on there. It's gonna be at 38 minutes soon, and then we're gonna contest Charlier cuts. Who can do more in a minute? We have 3, 2, 1, go. 1. 7, 8, 9. Oh, falling cards. Pick up the cards. Oh, my thumb. You're disqualified with those 2 cards right there. Oh, look at him. My hand is cramping up. It's only 25 seconds. Let's go. 30 seconds. I don't even. Please count. I start counting. So we're gonna have to. We're not gonna know who won. We're gonna have to count on the audience who watches and comment. There's somebody's gonna have to count. I'm not gonna, even when I edit this video, I'm not gonna count these. We're just gonna have. We have 15 seconds now. No dropping of the cards. Hey. Okay. Let's go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop moving. That's a half cut. I'll give you a half. Your final result will be a half.
Can I?
I don't know where this was from, but I remember Fritz was like, even we sessioned once, and I gave him this challenge. Let's finish this session like on Zoom, just privately. Who can do more? But you know, there's one thing that we could have agreed before. Is like, if you can do a triple one or a running one.
Oh really? Then I would have beat
like
you.
1, 2, 3.
Just go like this now.
Oh, stop it. Like you know which one I would love to just mention to the people, which is a silly one that they can try at home, and if they have a deck of cards, if you have time, if you separate the cards into red and black, right? And I'm not going to even perform because it's a silly location idea, which I recently told you that I've started doing with the memorized deck effect. And this is just a stupid thing. Like if you have a deck separated into red and black, of course you don't show it. And again, like you mentioned before, you can shuffle kind of fakely. You drop cards, and then when you feel you're coming around to the middle, you start one by one over the middle, and then you shuffle off. And then in principle, you should have...
Okay, now what's the credit for that technique?
I don't know. You tell me.
It's the Ireland shuffle.
This is the Ireland shuffle?
I believe so, yeah.
I should have it in here somewhere. Riffle shuffle techniques over handshake. Oh, look at it. It's I don't have the Ireland shuffle. It's a GW Hunter shuffle they called there in the...
Ah, that's bullshit.
Right?
GW Hunter is...
Oh, is the one too? Oh yeah, that's true. True. No, that's me talking bullshit. Okay. Now, if you get to the middle point and you know where it is, and you just give one deck to the one spectator and say, now, don't look at the cards and mix them up. But this is already like, you have to manage the spectators. You choose a card from one pack, and we mix it up, and you just shuffle. I don't want you to see it. Blah 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 blah, and then you find both cards since it's very silly. One is red, one is black. Now, I'm not going to talk about the fact that this is completely impractical. In a sense, for a beginner, you would have to it would feel awkward. You would definitely signal the deck there's something wrong with the deck. If you can practice a shuffle properly, just the shuffling technique. And do you want to talk about the shuffle grip a little bit here? Just the overhand shuffle, because many people... yeah, don't touch my cards.
Too late.
Like taking with the thumb, how the disposition here of the...
Just do this.
No, let's just... I want to give some value to anybody who's watching. What are you doing? Are you repeating after me, a monkey? Parroting me? What are you doing? You just put one card there and you want it... Yeah, see, like just the fact of how you're holding it here, the finger here, the top.
Yeah, it's like you hold it with one thumb here, the fingers here.
And by just we don't forget, never hold it like this. I mean, you have certain moves where it can facilitate, but usually at the fingertips when you.
I don't think it really matters though. Like
to me, it looks like, especially if you're here, it looks like a more like a grip.
It looks really bad, but it's practical. It's still functional.
It's functional, but yeah. But I also like, at least to my students, I'm a kid of kind of more like in a Michael Vincent school, in the sense of that I like it to look not elegant, but that it looks better. If it can look better, I would advise my students to like. And then when you have for the dribble, when you ask them to dribble, like if you have your fingers there, you're not gonna be able to dribble very nicely. And I can, but you and I can do it. But it's a bit even with the fingers there.
Nah, but this looks also aesthetically just much better.
It just you can see more, you can control more.
Dropping cards.
But, let's stop just for a second here. Like I've seen so many people dribbling like with here, and then having like this really like what you're doing now, right? Like yeah, it looks really nice. But I've seen people that do the anaconda, big like, and they actually have like a grip of this in the center there at the fingertips, these three fingers, and now they're kind of like letting go one by one like this.
Yeah, but it would actually, to me, make more sense to hold it like this.
Yeah.
Because it's like sort of like this. I have almost no control.
Yeah, it's very
like this. It's like a book,
Yeah, and if it's like this, it's like more control with the thumb on the side. Just holding like this. Most of the card moves that we talked about, we like, it's a lot better to do if you approach the deck from the side and have the hand like this than from the top, right? Now, like for me, I would like to say a couple of things more before we, let's say, go into a little bit of a, what's that word?
Detour.
Not detour, but it's like it's in the word when we were gonna get to advertisement. Oh, selfless plugs, like shameless plugs. Rico here has a really beautiful project with AllJazz originals titled "Sophisticated."
Sophisticated.
It reads really well, ladies and gentlemen. Just go write it down. Sophisticated. But the project, to me, it's unfortunate how, a project that gets out like that, which would, let's say, in the market, it's not nothing, or let's say, revolutionary new in the sense of techniques. It's beautifully built routines, 2 of them actually. And it's like, when we tried to pitch it to a couple of big actually there's only one distributor, so we know who we're talking about, but wholesale, right? And it's like, in a sense, they didn't like the trailer because it didn't tell if it's easy to do, and didn't tell what exactly happens in the trick. I was like, it's a variation of the McDonald's aces. It's an ace assembly.
Yeah,
like,
no, but what was like ticking my clock was they were just saying, yeah, but let us know why this version is better, easier to do, and like quicker to perform. Like, well, it's actually much more difficult than the original version.
Yeah.
But it makes it 1,000 times cleaner and better, and it's a much better setup.
And a specific move that we're not going to mention the name of, that it's hard to do with a normal big full deck. It's easier to practice.
Much better. Much easier. Also looks much better.
Looks much better, but you can get the technique down a little bit, how to gently hold the cards and to get the cards moving where you want to move them smoothly. And you can then pick up from there going to the full deck. So it's like so much value inside there, not just for the routine, which are beautiful, like the Philosopher's Stone, where the ace just touches the random 3 selected cards and they turn into the other aces. And it's like no moves, just very open, and and it's beautiful. And again, there's no originality in the sense of, this is something new we can push on the market. But dude, there's I'm not going to say how many people bought it, but not nearly enough in a sense. And I'm not trying to sell in the sense of, it has to make money. But I was disappointed in the sense of how like the distribution would have gone. It would have come to much more people if they would have just put the trailer out the way it is. Doesn't matter if it's not the way they want it. But I understand that it represents their brand or the way they sell it, but it's like they're a wholesaler, so it's like if I don't sell well, it's a download. It's nothing on you, So it was just a weird conversation, and now I'm debating with this next project that we have on the AllJazz Originals with Fritz. It's like how to make the trailer that maybe it is true how people look at magicians on the market. They need that we need to trick them, kind of like Slim Shady on them. It's like, let's go all insane and it's weird and make controversy about something, and then when they go inside and there's still controversy there back and forth, but it's kind of like obvious immediately to anybody that goes inside and studies that product a little bit. Wait, there's so much value here. This is like, I can use this from here. I can use both the routines together or one by itself, and the techniques that you learn inside there, the way you think about magic as well. I think it's a good. So people, if you can, check it out on. Of course, it's called Sophisticated on AllJazz Originals. Beautiful project. There's a lot of good reviews that we got from, not reviews, but from people who have bought it and have like also our mentors, like John Guastaferro, where he wrote about it. Was a beautiful thing that he wrote on the Magic Cafe, and the way Michael Vincent talks about the work that he's seen you do. It's also like, I don't know how you feel about it, but to me it's inspiring to.
Yeah, always.
And humbling as well. Like, yeah. So how did you feel about the project when we were filming it 2 years ago?
It's a good project, but it didn't get to too many people.
Yeah.
Which some way it's a shame. On the other hand, I'm like, whatever, just some people will know, others won't.
Just recently, I need to still translate because we've agreed to certain money in a pound. You're going to start getting profits out of it, and we just got a recent sale, and just a few more sales, and you start getting profits out of it. Because I ripped him off. He had to pay me €1,000 for the no. But now that we I'm looking ahead also, like the way you're doing your podcast and the service that you're doing to the community as well. With I'm just looking forward to seeing everything grow, and hopefully we can change a couple of parameters of where, like, let's get some flux in that direction and not just the commercial side of it, which is, I love the commercial. I mean, I perform a lot of commercial magic. You do as well, although you like more for the close-up, for the shows. You have a lot more like sophisticated parlor style magic, which is beautiful to watch. I always at the Amsterdam Magic Show, it was always beautiful to watch your progress and the routines, and it's like something completely different. I'm used to seeing you doing close-up. You're doing so much, like it's still you, but it's more commercial. So it's like, in a sense, we both can agree that the commercial side needs to stay there, but it's just overrun with. Yeah. So let's finish on you finish on this episode on this little bit. Your thoughts on the current state of magic in the market, and don't go too deep on that, because we have certain things. What that?
Can I have a counter?
A counter? There's a counter right there.
No, counter.
Oh, yeah, shit counter. Yeah, well, we let's call it poop in this one. You guys, it's kids watching. I'm not gonna censor you. Just say whatever you want to say.
This stuff is.
It's not. Wait, we have to do this.
Come on.
Do it again.
This stuff is really.
So we use that every time. Look, let me try to time you, and you censor yourself when you say that when we count, and you can talk a little bit, and every time I'm gonna see you.
Your podcast is shit.
Hey, say it slower so I can time it.
Your podcast is shit. Too early. No, the current state of magic, it's a very weird state, and it's one of the reasons why I started Invisible Practice. Not that I have the answers, because I feel like I completely don't. I feel that at the moment I'm in the worst place of magic I've ever been. Like,
personally, I mean.
Yeah, like I'm probably at one of the best levels I've ever been. But how I feel about it is like one of the worst places I could ever be.
Right now.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel it's because we haven't had the chance to perform more, or? Maybe,
but also just like, I guess, trying to derive a certain self-value or worth through magic, which then of course doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's not possible. And taking myself too serious sometimes when I do magic.
Yeah.
You should not take yourself too serious, but definitely take magic serious.
Yeah.
But the current state of magic is sort of like it's an art which has become an industry. So it's what is new, that's what's good, which is not the case. It's not. You cannot say this is new, this is good. I mean, sometimes for music, an album gets dropped, and you're like, oh shit, this is amazing. Like I wanna buy this and listen to this all week. There's also so much shit being dropped all the time that you can't say what's new is good, but in magic that's the case. This is new. This new revolutionary gimmick.
Just originality itself is not saying it's going to be quality.
It's too much focus on originality rather than on quality.
So do you think like it's a balance somewhere where you can hit in the market, like at large, where it would be like, I don't know.
Well, look, like in general, I think the guys who I like the stuff, I love Tony Chang stuff, which is then at the same time, he is also sort of a cult symbol. Because he has this really difficult stuff, which is the same thing why the 40 DVDs are so cool to watch, because you're like, someone can do that? Which is, oh man, that's perfect. But I don't know, like there's other stuff like Jared Koff, for example, and John Wilson, they have some pretty cool downloads.
Yeah.
Paul Feehill is doing amazing work. Mike, and the best lecture notes I've ever read so far are still Mike Pishoda's 2 lecture notes. The little booklets he released, they're like, everything in there is gold. Like,
you're gonna tell me the information a bit later, and we can put it like a text on so they can people can.
They're like, everything in there is gold, and those things are, I think they're 30 to 40 euros per booklet. That's too cheap. It's much too cheap for those things. They're much too good for that. But to get back to magic, like what right now, what is new is good. And at the same time, people get lost in this. And I saw this when we went to the biggest magic convention in Europe. I was in the dealer's hall, and it was just thousands of dealers all selling magic, which wasn't really great and which could be fun, but either was impractical or not that great to do for people. It wasn't really teaching you lessons. They were cool separate tricks sometimes. but there was no way of learning how to become a better magician. So,
It's almost always like a dealer demo when you go to less lectures and
yeah, and I saw people buying 3,000 euros or pounds of these tricks, and they were like, yeah, because I'm trying to find if I'm more like a mentalist type of dude or more this. And I'm thinking, dude, there was one good stand. It was right there. It was selling secondhand magic books. It was the only good stand. Oh, well, I mean, Ozzy Wynn's stand was pretty cool also.
I mean, that's what I want to say to you. Like, it can come off when you start passionately talking about this, and also anything. When I start talking passionate about it, you have to be weary and just be. My opinion, like it can come off as like, oh, he just sees the negative in the market, which is there's a lot of it. There's a lot of like I agree with you completely on that wholehearted. Like this complete picture of it is completely skewed, and people who come into magic don't get it like even a fighting chance sometimes.
But that's the thing. Like I'm not gonna say that the whole creating an industry from it is bad. Although in general, you tend to get stuff which is commerciality over quality.
Yeah.
Which I think for certain arts can be a really big problem. But like to go back to the story, like there was not a lot of good stuff being sold there. And some things are really cool, but how I differentiate between good or not was for the purpose that most people want to buy it for, which is I want to become a better magician, learn new principles, and find myself in this.
Do you think they think they're gonna become better magicians just because
I've talked with them about it, and they yes.
Just because they're gonna buy a new one, that's gonna make me better.
Yeah, but like, of course, some tricks you learn through osmosis or through like there are some downloads from Jared Koff, which are really cool, and he also goes into detail about certain moves and certain little details he has to things, which those subtleties are really where the magic is. So that's very useful. But people are much better off buying a really good book or a really good DVD of just impromptu stuff and just learn about it that way and to develop yourself. Some tricks are really good. Like I recently bought Charming Chinese Challenge. I bought Pipo Villanueva's version, which is amazing.
I saw you showed me that video. It's amazing.
It looks gorgeous, and I'm playing with Nakito box, and I love sometimes color changing knives and other things. And there are some really cool things like ring flight is an amazing effect. There are really cool effects on the market, but to me they're more sort of like a means to an end. Like, okay, I have this idea, I want to do this. Oh, this thing is perfect for this concept or this thing I want to express. So I'm gonna buy this rather than just only buying tricks and seeing magic like. It has to be easy to do, and I want to get it out of the drawer and do it. And I mean, that's also fine, because some people, they get that kick of buying something new, just seeing how it works. Like, oh, amazing! Practicing it a few times. Maybe they're like showing it to their grandkids or to their parents, and that's it. Goes in the drawer, and they're satisfied with that. Yeah, which is fine. But right now, sort of the voice that says you have to like this is the way to go to learn more about magic. That's not really there. Just the little voice, and you have the market just crushing it down and saying you buy these effects if you wanna. Yeah,
new bestsellers. Oh, they just keep coming, and then you have like and I've bought I've couple of tricks that I bought from Illusionist over the years were really practical. Like the work from like the gimmick from Kieran for the element for the ice production, that was like in my working repertoire, and it was a proper gimmick. But still, I see that it's a problem of this kind of like promotion to the young kids who are coming in, and street magic is like now it's not that much anymore, since it's like but before when it was street magic all the rave, it was like that's how you get in new ones, and with the streets and strong magic, easy to do, one package learning, and then it's like kind of a constant wave of these new kids coming in and not being able to realize how to go further and become great magicians or learn more, and then they just what they bought or learned goes in the drawer. They go away from magic, and then new people come. So it is a problem in a sense. I see as well that, like you said, there's not a fighting chance, and everything's crushed by the big ones and all the small ones like us as well, trying to flood the market. We're not trying to flood the market. We have stuff to share, right? That we want, but it's like, how can your stuff, who has so much value, even like just go buy your lecture notes that are the tricks are in there, and you can buy them off of your website on Invisible Practice. The tricks are in there. If you don't want to buy the video and the AllJazz originals where the tricks, 2 tricks are in there. There's 3 more tricks in that booklet, and those 2 are in there, and it's almost the same price than the video, or I think a bit more. But it's like you get like so much work in there. Support people, support directly, and don't be surprised by the shipment as well. If we send you a shipment, we can't get free shipping.
PDF right now. So.
All PDFs as well, but you know how it is. We like to at least give them work that they have to scan the thing and put it online. Don't just give it to them.
Yeah, but this is also like the first, like when we started Invisible Practice, it's the first time I experienced it, that someone like bought our stuff and then put it on these illegal, like, motherfucker, you're asking €3 to
and you're
for my lecture notes. You're making money off my back. Like I have much more of a problem with that than someone just putting them online for free.
Yes, exactly. Like Paulo Coelho, the author that you also probably read some book. The Alchemist is his most famous one. When he had the end of the contract of the last book that he had to write for the publishing company, I think he did his own publishing companies. If I'm, you have research, don't believe what I just say word by word, but if I believe correctly, it was like this. He wrote the new book. Didn't have made his own publishing company or the new contract or whatever, and then before he went on Pirate Bay, made an account on Pirate Bay himself, scanned his own book, put it on there saying, this is my new book is coming out, and it's going to be sold there and there, but to anybody who can't buy it and afford it, I want as many people who can to read it. And that specific book was pirated how many million times, and was also one of his best-selling books on the actual market, because so many people got to read it and talk about it, and a lot of more people bought it because of that as well. So I am like, the magic market is not that big. We can't afford to do this.
No, but honestly, people, if they really like something, they will also usually buy it at one point if they pirated it at first.
Yeah, I've done a couple of that in my past, feeling guilty for what I've learned from a pirated thing. Especially when we didn't know better, or we're just happy that we don't have the money, but I can learn. It's a free information age. Yeah, we live in information. Do it. Right? And then you go, hey, Tommy's here. Yeah, I think it's time. Come. We're going to say bye. I think this is time to actually stop this official public podcast with Rico Weeland. And anybody who's watching, if you've noticed, there's on the table picture of Donald Trump I drew. He wanted an actual photo. This is what I gave him, a silhouette. And Rico, we're going to explain what this is, and we're going to use it. And there's one more special thing that comes on the table in the Patreon episode. We're going to talk much more about magic, reveal some stuff from our own repertoire.
This is actually better than what I asked for, because my idea of asking a framed picture of Donald Trump was just not even that I want the picture. I just want
because
to
of me being Slovenian.
I just want to torture you with the process of having to go out and buy a picture frame, then searching a picture online, printing it, and then framing it.
Yeah, like we can reveal here that we actually, every guest that I invite, I ask them for a small rider to like some difficult stuff, make it not too bad for me. And with this little deck that we ordered, the joke is on Rico. And we're going to see why in the Patreon episode. And this is it for today. Thank you for being here. Thanks, Rico, for joining us.
Of course.
And we're saying bye. See you on the next one.